Alright. Let me make sure that angle's okay. There we go. That's good. That's good, you guys. That's good. Alright. Welcome back. My name is Matthew McGraw. And I gotta turn this down before it repeats itself. We're talking about a very serious issue today. Something that I don't really want to talk about because this is one of the most banned issues in the entire country, and I don't know. I feel like this might ruin my future. People are like, you don't want to talk about this because you want to be governor of Montana, and I'm like, I think people in Montana will be okay with me talking about this because the people affected, the people on the other side of this position don't really live in Montana. Sorry about the dogs. Oh my gosh. My corgis are upstairs going crazy. But we're talking about the changing demographics of the United States and why that is important and why that matters. So here is an article that came out this week from The Guardian, and Gen Z, my generation, will be the last generation with a white minority in the United States, study finds. Gen Z Americans who were born between 1997 and 2012 will be the last generation with a white majority and will give way to a post-2012 majority-minority generation Alpha, according to a new study of updated U.S. Census data. That change, when non-Hispanic white people will fall below half as a share of the overall U.S. population, should come around 2045. So why does this matter? It's a fundamental change of our country. But I want to talk about first why this is banned. It's like, I don't know, maybe I just talk about this real quick. No, but it's a fundamental change because our country was founded by Europeans of like British and German and Celtic and Western European descent, came over and founded this country along with a minority of Africans who are, in my opinion, still key to our population. They contribute a lot to the culture. A lot of America wouldn't be what America is today without them. So it's a white majority and a African American minority that founded this country and basically was the entirety of this country up until 1950, after World War II, 1960, 1970. 1970 is when the new Immigration Act passed. I want to say 1974 was when the big change happened. And before then, it was almost entirely European and a small minority of African Americans and obviously Native Americans as well. And that defined America. That defined what America was, who America was. I mean, you look at American ascent as a power, and it is because of who America was. It's because America was founded on these Western European values. We're part of Western civilization. And that's really key in this because the people coming into our country aren't part of Western civilization. And so will we stop being part of Western civilization? Maybe. Will all Western civilization fall like Pat Buchanan said, the death of the West? Or is Western civilization dying? Well, I think America might be with this because our newest generation, half of us aren't, it's not going to be majority white anymore, and you can say I'm a racist. I'm not a racist. I'm an American, and I want America to be the same country that it has been. And obviously we've gone through some difficult times, and we've done some things, bad things in the past, but at the end of the day, we're still America, and that's going to fundamentally change if the people fundamentally change. Because the people, the nation, is comprised of a people. You can't just take a whole nother group of people, place it down in the what is now the United States, and say and give them the Constitution and they'd come with the same country. That would never happen. You cannot take a different group of people, put it in the United States, and make America. Because the United States is the United States because of who made the United States. And that was Europeans and African Americans. And the majority was Europeans, Western Europeans in America. And that's just, we built the United States. And culturally, it was Western European. It was Western civilization. And then it had an African American influx, and with the blues and different foods, especially in the South, you see a lot of African American influence. But they're also key to our population, despite the issues in the Black community right now. There are a lot of issues, and we need to solve those because they are fundamentally part of America, and they have been part of America. But these, like Hispanic people from Central America and South America, they don't have the same shared history that we do. They don't have the same American identity unless they embrace it. And that's a big issue here, and we'll get to that. Let's continue reading. Here, Frey, in his analysis, added, quote, "These patterns have led to a racial generation gap in which the younger population, more influenced by immigration in recent decades, is far more diverse than older age groups. This is reflected in a cultural generation gap that underlies many aspects of the nation's social fabric and politics, including views about the recent Supreme Court decision on affirmative action and state proposals to limit teaching about race and diversity in public schools." So this is exactly what I'm talking about. And they admit it here, even though they don't want to talk about it. The people who are coming to our country have fundamentally different values, fundamentally different ideas of what America should be and what America is, and fundamentally different ideas on how this country should be run and how it is than the citizens of the United States who have been here for centuries, or for a century, or the people who have assimilated. Like, if people want to talk about like the Asian population, that they are great in America, that's because they came in low numbers and they assimilated. They said, we're coming to America because we want to be Americans, right? And we understand what America means. We're not coming here for some economic benefits or whatever. We're coming here because we see the country that America is, and we want to be Americans. And they understood what that meant. And they assimilated into our culture. You don't see Japanese people running around speaking Japanese and refusing to learn English. No, they all know English, and I bet almost none of them know their original language because they've all assimilated into American culture. But this new generation, and they admit this, isn't assimilating. They have fundamentally different views. Underlies many aspects of the nation's social fabric and politics, including views about the recent Supreme Court decision on affirmative action. Obviously, they would want affirmative action to exist because it would benefit them. Because they didn't come here to be Americans. They didn't come here to change their way of life and accept a new nation as their home. They still have loyalties to themselves and to their nation. They don't have a loyalty to their host nation, America. And that's because they're coming in millions and millions. I mean, 7 million immigrants last year, 7 million illegal migrants. And that doesn't even count the ones we didn't track. They're coming in such large rates that they're not willing to assimilate because they're forming these areas where they have no need to assimilate. It's all Hispanic and Central American migrants, and it just looks like a new Honduras, not America. So there's no need for them to assimilate because there's so many of them coming in. And people want to say, well, so many people came to America during the 18th and 19th centuries. I want to say 15 million people came through Ellis Island ever, and that was in the over 60 years that Ellis Island was running. That's 15 million people. That many people have come in during the Biden presidency, and that's been 2 years. 2 years. So I think you can see why that's a bit different. Why that's a bit different. And not only that, but the people coming through Ellis Island and the people coming during the 19th and 20th centuries were from Western civilization. They're from other Western areas. They're European, right? They shared similar values. They shared similar Western values that we did, because we're all part, even though we're separated by nations, we're all part of a greater civilization that has a common value system. That's why they are able to assimilate so easily. It's because they shared our values, wanted to become Americans, and they came in fewer numbers. Now we've got the complete opposite. They're coming just for economic opportunities, to leech off of our social welfare system. They're not of Western civilization. They're from Central America, which is a completely different civilization that goes back to their Native American ties. And then they're not coming in small numbers. They're coming in mass. They're coming in 7 million a year. And that's insane. That's ridiculous. So it's fundamentally different. People want to make these comparisons, but they're fundamentally different. Completely different. All right. So getting back to what I was talking about earlier, it's not something that I'm really allowed to talk about very much in here. If anyone's saying anything in chat, no one said anything yet. It's okay. But you're not really allowed to talk about this. It's something that we as a country have kind of made taboo. And there's a reason for that. Nobody's allowed to talk about this because the people in power want this to happen. The people who have the money, the people who have the influence, benefit from mass migration. You think of these billionaire companies. You don't think they benefit from lower wages? They need millions of low-skilled workers, and they don't want to pay them $20 an hour like the average American wants for a living job. Everyone's complaining about a living job now. The left is like, we need a living, workable wage. The left says we need a livable minimum income, a livable minimum wage. Maybe stop importing people then who will accept $2 an hour. If you want to work a low-skilled job and be able to survive and be paid a livable wage, maybe stop allowing millions of people who will accept less than a livable wage. Because that hurts you. But it doesn't hurt the people in power. It doesn't hurt the billionaires who run these massive companies who need these low-skilled laborers. And they don't want to pay livable wages. So they want millions and millions of people coming in. So they can pay them less than livable wages. And they don't have to suffer. Their pockets are fine. And their companies are fine because they don't have to pay anybody livable wages. And it all ties back to kind of this capitalist thing. But I'm not going to complain about capitalism because capitalism got us here. And whether it's bad or good, I believe in whatever economic system is best for the country at the moment. I'm not a capitalist. I'm not a socialist. I don't even know if I'm a moderate. I'm just like, whatever works. So make your arguments, whatever. But I do think right now that a big reason for millions of people coming in is because of our economic system. But it's also because the people in power, a lot of them want globalism and they want multiculturalism. So globalism is this idea of like a one world government where we don't really have nations anymore. And America, which is very patriotic, wouldn't accept that. We would never want to be part of a global government unless they destroyed our national identity. They need millions of people to come in because they need us to become a multicultural society, because they need us to lose our national identity. A national identity comes from a shared history, a general moral value system, and that comes with Western civilization. A national identity comes with a shared consensus on certain issues, a way we want the country to be run. But when you take in millions of people that have come from different backgrounds, have different histories, don't really care about America other than the benefits that it provides them. I mean, JFK said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. And that's what we need to ask every single one of these migrants. Not what is America going to do for you? Why are you moving here? But what will you provide to us? How will you make our country better? Because you're another mouth to feed, you know. We're at a detriment because you're coming in. So why should we let you come in? Make the argument, make the case for us that we should let you in. And don't say, well, I want to be here because America will help me very much. No. What will you provide America? How will you help America? That's how we should be running things. Do not ask how your country can help you, but how you can help your country. But they're not doing this because they want globalism, they want multiculturalism, they want to destroy the national identity that we have as America, as Americans. And so they're taking in people that don't believe in the American value system, that don't believe in Western civilization. And I'm okay with some immigrants coming in, but they want to actually help. I want immigrants that want to become American, not immigrants that want to benefit from America. And there's a clear difference there. I just talked about that. I want immigrants that want to become American, that want to embrace our value system, that want to become part of Western civilization, that want to become part of America's national identity, that want to embrace our history and our culture and our values. I don't want people that don't want that. And these people that are coming in, they don't want that. They want new Honduras, new Nigeria, new Pakistan. They want that in America. It's the same thing going on in Europe. The people going into England, the people going into France, and they're rioting in France, destroying the entire country now, they're not coming there to become French. They want a new Iraq, a new Syria, a new Algeria. They don't want France. They want it to be like their home countries. And there's this very controversial thing that happened. I forget who it was. Maybe it was Nigel Farage, but in the UK, one of the politicians said, maybe it was a comedian on a TV show, said, I walk through Birmingham or whatever, and I don't see the United Kingdom. I don't see England. I see Pakistan. And it's because these people are coming here. The people are coming to Europe. The people are coming to America. They don't want to be American. They don't want to be part of Western civilization. They want all the benefits that America has to offer economically with the cultural and national tie to their original countries. And all ties back to globalism and the destruction of the nation state and the idea of a nation, because it's happening in Europe and North America because they want to destroy us because we stand in the way. So America, because of this, if we don't stop this, is going to become a fundamentally different country. We won't have the country that we had. We're going to have a multicultural globalist society, and that's not America. And you want to say, well, everyone's American, and this is the argument they make. They say, everyone's American. No, there's a fundamental personality, a fundamental conscious of America and what an American and who America is as a nation. And these people, they don't see that. They're American in name only because they don't share that consciousness, because they don't want to share that consciousness. Because you see people from Asia that came in, or people from Europe that came in, and they said, we want to be American. We want a share of that consciousness. We want a share of that national identity. We want to be part of America because we want to be American. And that's fundamentally different, because these people are saying, I want to be an American Honduran or whatever, a Haitian American. And that's not, we're all American. Theodore Roosevelt said, if you hold any other countries dear, then you're not American. So it's really sad. It's not something we want. And social isolation, I write this down here. These people are coming in and they're becoming socially isolated. They aren't becoming part of the rest of American society. They're becoming these ghettos, like I said, a mini Honduras, a mini Haiti within the United States, because they're not becoming American. And also dual loyalties. Like I said, Theodore Roosevelt said, if you have any other loyalty than to the United States, then you're not American. So this idea has been around for a long time. This idea of being only loyal to America. And these people aren't only loyal to America. And it has to do with this geographical location, because a lot of these people are coming from places that are super close to here. And Pat Buchanan talked about this. The people who are coming into America are from Central America. They're from the Caribbean. That's a few hundred miles, maybe 1,000 miles from the United States, compared to people who are coming in during the 19th and 20th centuries. They're thousands of miles away from America. So the people who are geographically closer to the United States, to where they're moving, are still able to stay in contact and still able to have and visit their host countries because they're so close, and therefore they're going to have a dual loyalty. When you came to America in the 19th or 20th centuries, you came in and you weren't really leaving. You couldn't just go back for vacation, or you couldn't stay here 6 months out of the year because it was so far away. And because these people are so close, they're able to have these dual loyalties. And a dual loyalty is not something we want. Theodore Roosevelt said, if you have any other loyalty than to the United States, you are not American. So how are these people American if they hold a dual loyalty? I hold one loyalty. That's to America and to Jesus Christ. I don't hold any loyalty to any other country. So I guess I'm American then. But these people hold loyalty to Honduras and to El Salvador and to Haiti, Jamaica. They hold loyalties to these other countries and to their families there. And that has to do with what Pat Buchanan is talking about, this geographical location and how close it is. So, yeah. The fact that all of this stuff, the shared history that they lack, they don't want to be American. They ask what America can do for them, not what they can do for America. It erodes this national identity, and it creates this multicultural society, and it brings about globalism. It brings about the destruction of the American identity and the American nation to a global nation. A nation of global scale, of global interests. And as somebody who believes that all cultures matter and that we should preserve them because they're beautiful, I think having everyone in one global nation where we can all become a mesh of culture, a mush of hundreds of different cultures into one, I think that's sad. Because I think we need to preserve those things. It's like paint. It's like we have all these different colors of paint. We have all these different countries. But if you put them all together, you put all the beautiful, diverse, radiant colors of paint together into one paint, then it's like some mucky gray. And that's what the whole world will become. It won't be a bunch of cultures coming together in this vibrant society. No, it'll be a mush of gray. So yeah, how do we stop this? I don't know if we can. It's really sad. But we need to promote an American conscience. We need to promote amongst American citizens and American nationals and people who live here and are Americans who don't have that dual loyalty. We need to show them, we need to promote this amongst them. We need to say, hey guys, we're all Americans and we want what's best for America. These people that are coming in, they're taking your jobs, they're taking our jobs. They're destroying our country how it is. I mean, I said this, your children will never grow up in the country you grew up in unless something changes now. Because it'll be fundamentally different, and we need to promote that amongst people who identify themselves as Americans and who are Americans and hold loyalty to America. Just like Theodore Roosevelt said. So we need to promote this nationalism. And people don't like that. People say that's like some awful thing, but nationalism is just patriotism. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. So we need to promote this nationalism in America, and we need to promote this idea that if you are only loyal to America, then you need to identify that America's going to fundamentally change. It won't be the country you came here for, or the country you lived in, the country you grew up in, the country you love. It will be fundamentally changed because of this. And it doesn't matter if you're white, black, Asian, Hispanic. If you're in America and you love America how it is, you got to fight back against what America's becoming. Because what America's becoming isn't what America was, isn't what made you love America. So yeah, we need some solutions. I just talked about an American conscience. Yeah, I wrote this down somewhere else. You have Peter Brimelow. Don't know very much about that guy. But you know. He says, an immigration moratorium happened in 1924 under Calvin Coolidge. We can enact it again today. It could be a wake-up call. This could be a wake-up call. It won't be a wake-up call unless we're actually allowed to talk about it. And we're not allowed to talk about it. We're just not. People aren't being allowed to talk about this issue because the people in power are globalists, just like I said. So they want this multicultural society. They want the reduction of an American identity. They want people to not be American anymore, but to be human, to be earthly, to be global. And I'm fundamentally opposed to that. I do not like that. I'm an American first and foremost. I'm an American, and I'm a Christian. So I don't know if it'll be a wake-up call because they're going to silence it. I mean, the Wall Street, was it Wall Street? Who was it? No, The Guardian. I read The Guardian. The Guardian talked about it, but they promoted it as a good thing. So unless we somehow become a force, a political force to be reckoned with, like a new Pat Buchanan, I don't know if we're going to be able to make this a wake-up call. However, there is something I do want to talk about, and it might be making it a wake-up call. Um, and it's this other article. It's this other article. Hey, if you guys are here, say something in the chat. How many people are watching? One? Oh, geez. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. It could be a wrong number. Who knows? Here we go. Migrant surge begins to bite sanctuary states. All right, let's go here. This is from Church Militant. Northern sanctuary states are petitioning the U.S. government to help address the huge number of migrants illegally entering into or being shipped to their cities by affected border states like Texas, Arizona, and Florida. Sheena Rodriguez, president of Alliance for a Safe Texas, an organization devoted to informing the public of the catastrophic consequences of illegal immigration and open border policies, is nonplussed with blue states' sudden concern about the migrant surge. Since their inception, sanctuary cities and states have helped incentivize illegal immigration while claiming to welcome illegal migrants with open arms. They got what they asked for. Complaining about a mere fraction of what Texas and other border states have been forced to contend with for years is laughable and simultaneously infuriating. You made your bed, now lay in it. No, that's totally true. So, but that could be the solution we're talking about. I'm hoping. And maybe, I've heard the criticism that it's taking these migrants deeper into our country, but it's forcing the people who want these migrants here to wake up and realize that they aren't really the best thing happening. So if we allow these migrants to, maybe a little bit of them come to New York City or to Boston or some other Democrat city, DC maybe, Portland, Seattle. I can't say LA or San Francisco because they're already shitholes. But if we allow them to come to these other cities, maybe these people who want these migrants here will have a change of heart. We'll see that maybe it's not the best thing for the country because they're finally interacting with these people. But you know, the people in power probably won't have to deal with them, the billionaires. They can just live in these gated communities. But then again, Ron DeSantis did fly a plane over into one of their communities on some island, I forget. So maybe this is a strategy that will work. Maybe it will wake them up. However, we're going to have to deal with the consequences of these illegal immigrants being further into our country eventually. We're going to eventually have to deport them. And that'll be harder to do if they're in New York City rather than in El Paso. So, man, this is really short. 34 minutes so far. Short show. Is this really that big of a deal? Yeah, no, completely. It's a huge deal. It fundamentally changes who America is. Because America, like I said earlier, was founded as part of Western civilization. And that makes us who we are today. The people that founded us, the culture and the identity that they shared, the Europeans and the small black minority had this shared identity that created this country. You couldn't just take another group of people and put them in America. And so when you take these Central Americans and Haitians and just drop them in America, they're going to create a fundamentally different society than what's already there. And people want to say that Native Americans that we like somehow wronged them in the same way, but you got to keep in mind there were 3.7 million Native Americans in the entire country, in the entire area that America now occupies in 1492, 3.7 million. It just so happens that there are 3.7 million square miles in America, and that 3.7 million number actually comes from a very liberal source trying to argue that we invaded and destroyed their society. But I think there's proof there. America's 3.7 million square miles, and there were 3.7 million Native Americans in 1492 in the United States' area. That means the population density was 1 person per square mile. And that's lower than any state in the entire United States. I want to say lower than any county except for like Yellowstone and some of the counties in Alaska. So the people that were here before us, the Native Americans, they didn't have a civilization. There was a lack of civilization here because there were so few of them. And I have sympathies for the original Native Americans, and I do want to preserve their culture and bring it into American heritage because I like a lot of their culture. You see these beautiful paintings. You go out west, go to Montana, come to Montana, and you can see that there is an impact that they had. And I think we should preserve that, and I think we should help these Native Americans because I think they are part of America. And but they didn't have a civilization like we did at all in 1492. So it's fundamentally different than what's happening now. Here, let's read what this guy's saying. America changes all the time, little bro. The Americans said the same exact thing about the Italian Catholics and Irish and Slavs. Why stop at European Christian and why not only Anglo-Protestants are the real Americans? That's what America was based on. No, what I'm saying is, you look at Theodore Roosevelt. You can say all this stuff, but you look at Theodore Roosevelt. Theodore Roosevelt made the argument that you're American if you hold America first. If your only loyalty is to America. These Irish people, these Italians, the Catholics, and I'm Catholic, I'm Irish Catholic, the Slavs, they came over here and they didn't have loyalties to these countries a continent away, all the way across the Atlantic Ocean. They only held loyalty to the United States because that's the only country they could hold loyalty to because they came here to become Americans, and that's it. So they're so far from their original countries, geographically, they could only be loyal to America, and they were only loyal to America. These people that are coming in now, it's fundamentally different. Because they hold dual loyalties. They hold loyalty to Honduras or to Haiti or to their families back there. They don't only hold loyalty to America, they also hold loyalty to themselves. A lot of the people coming in hold more loyalty to themselves than to America. JFK said, think not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. These people are coming in and they're saying, what's America going to provide me? No, what are you going to provide America? And that's what we asked every single migrant, every single immigrant that came in from Europe and from Asia in the 19th and 20th century. We said, what are you going to provide to America? And that's why only the skilled laborers came in. And only the people that we thought. It was a very rigorous process to get through Ellis Island and to get through these other immigration ports. You had to be somebody special. You had to actually help America. Nowadays, it's anyone they want. Anyone who wants to be here can come in. The border's pretty much open. So that's fundamentally different. And also we can get into the numbers and how many people are coming in now compared to back then. But it's fundamentally different because the people are fundamentally different. Their loyalties are fundamentally different. The mass is fundamentally different, the amount of people coming in. So it's a different situation. It's really the exact opposite. What are you talking about, the exact opposite? What? What do you mean? What are you talking about? Yeah, you'd have to elaborate on that. Because I clearly think, it is today the exact opposite of what it was back then. No, actually, they didn't. If you knew this, if you understood this, less than 40% of people who wanted to come to America, immigration in the 19th and 20th century were accepted. Less than 40%. Nowadays, it's about 90%. And that's not even counting the fact that 7 million illegals are coming in. We don't even have a process now because they just get to flood through the border. Anyone who wants can come through. The people who came in the 19th and 20th century, they did have a rigorous process. They had to stay in Ellis Island and these other places for months, really. They had to stay for a long time, and people are like, oh my gosh, it's awful. Well, there's a reason for that. It's because we wanted the best, and we were taking their best. We weren't taking their worst. You want to say we were taking their worst? We weren't. We weren't taking their worst. You look at Peter Brimelow, Pat Buchanan, they make this argument. They go in depth about this, about how these people coming in, they were skilled laborers. And you can say they're laborers, but they're skilled laborers. They had experience, they had issues, and they were willing to, they had this experience and they were willing to become American. These people now aren't willing to become American. They're coming in 7 million illegals. We have no filter. No filter. It's whoever wants to be here gets to be here. That's open borders. That's a globalist society. That's not what America is. That's not what America was. That's not how we accepted people in the 19th and 20th century. So yeah, no, you're just fundamentally wrong about that. You got to know history. You got to understand. 40 million people wanted to come to America in the 19th, 20th century through Ellis Island. 15 million did. The 60 years Ellis Island was open, 40 million people wanted to come in, 15 million did. Now, Biden's presidency, 15 million people have come in the 2.5, 3 years that he's been president. So it's a lot different, bud. It's a lot different. And a big issue with that. Manual laborers, but it's skilled labor. You got to understand the difference between skilled and unskilled labor. And these people that are coming in to these factories and coming into work in New York, they had skilled labor. They had experience from Europe because Europe was as developed, as technologically advanced as America was. So the people there had to have some skill to survive. They had to be part of this advanced society. The people that are coming in now, they're coming from countries that aren't nearly as advanced. And so they don't have the skills that are needed here. And if we had the same rigorous testing that we had in Ellis Island and that we had in the 19th and 20th century throughout the United States on both coasts, then I want to say less than 1 million people would be coming here every year. Less than 1 million, because if you want to do that math, back then it was 250,000 every year. 15 million divided by 60 years, it's 250,000 every year. So that's a lot less. You can say the population was less back then. Inflate it, I want to say it's probably 3 times as much now. That's still less than 1 million every year. What do you mean? It wasn't an advanced society. Most of the Asian and African immigrants allowed are skilled workers. I'm saying, no, you're right. You're right, yeah. Like the Nigerians in America, so look at this. There was a study done. The average IQ of an African American living in America, I want to say, is 91 or something like that, who aren't immigrants, is 91. But the average IQ of an African immigrant in America, an immigrant who wasn't born here, who isn't African American or whatever, they came from like Nigeria, the average IQ is like 105 to 110 because they have to work hard to get here. They have to get through this testing process, and that they're skilled laborers, they're skilled workers. But that's the people who are coming from Africa, from Asia, who are going through the system, who actually have difficulties to go here, and it does have to do with this geographical thing that Pat Buchanan talks about. The people coming from Nigeria, the people coming from Asia, they're thousands of miles away from their homeland. They're coming here to become American. They're not just coming here for economic advantages like these Central Americans and Caribbean peoples. They're coming here because they want to live here, they want to become American, just like Pat Buchanan said. So they have no connection to their original country. And it takes a lot to get here from those countries. Takes a lot of skill, takes hard work, ethics, brain power, and that's why they're best. Nigeria and Asia is sending their best to America. India is sending their best to America. That's why so few actually get to come here. Haiti, Honduras, El Salvador, they're not sending their best. It's anyone who wants to come. Just floods through the southern border, whoever they want. So, yeah. No, I don't disagree that most are skilled workers from Asia and Africa because they have to travel, they have to actually get here. There's a natural process. Anyone else here? You guys have any other questions before I go to like Twitter or something? Because it's 46, and I mean, that's pretty long. What are your thoughts about Cuban immigrants and the many immigrants from Central America fleeing regimes so they can't have dual loyalties? Well, they do have dual loyalties because it's not just, because the loyalty isn't to the government, it's to the country, right? There's a difference between nation and government. You can have a loyalty to America without having a loyalty to the American government. I mean, think of Canada. Canada has this totalitarian government now. You can have a loyalty to Canada as a Canadian and not approve of the Canadian government. The nation and the government are two different things. And so people fleeing Central America from regimes, that doesn't mean they don't still hold loyalties to their families and to the society there, because the society, the nation there is fundamentally different than the government, because that's how it is across the globe. It's not united into one. The government and the nation are two different things. By that argument, almost all immigrants have loyalties to different countries. No, I'm saying that the people who are coming in from Central America have those loyalties. They want to go back. They do go back often. The people coming from Europe and from Asia and even from like Nigeria now, they don't go back. They come here and they're staying here, and that's it. They're not going back. They're not feeding their families a million miles away. They're not saying, oh, I'm going to send all my money back, flooding out of the American economy into their home country's economy. They're saying, I'm coming here and I'm going to stay here because there's no fucking way I can get back. There's no way I can get back to Nigeria. That'd be way too difficult. And they're coming here and they're coming to stay. There's no way back in the 19th and 20th centuries, Irish people and Russian or Greek or whatever, they couldn't go back. No, they were Americans and they wanted to be Americans because that was it. It was, I'm coming and I can't go back. So I guess I'm loyal to America now, or else I will be forced out of America. Just like Theodore Roosevelt said. Almost all immigrants have loyalties to, it just depends, you know. I don't think you should, like, my family descends from Irish immigrants. Not a single one of us have more loyalty to Ireland than to America. We are all American, and I put America before Ireland any day of the week. I don't really care about Ireland too much, other than my friends who live there, and maybe my like ethnic heritage, but that's not what matters to me. What matters to me is America. And so I have loyalty to America, not to Ireland. But I'm not just saying not just me, I'm saying my ancestors too. I'm saying that my ancestors didn't say, we're Irish. No, they said, we're American. They didn't say, we're Irish American. They said, no, we're American. And it's all about those loyalties. And their loyalties lied entirely to America, not to Ireland. Not just me today. I'm talking about, like, when they came here. And you can ask my friends. I have friends. I have a Japanese, half Japanese, half white friend. And I have an Indian friend. You think they care about, you think their parents who are immigrants here care about India? No. Think they care about Japan? No, they care about America because they're Americans and their only loyalty is to America. Who is this Beyond YMA guy? Let's get a little look at this fella. We on top. W. It's W description. I mean, that's not true. What's not true? Like, you're just gonna say I'm a liar because I'm claiming my ancestors had full loyalty to America? I'm not a liar. I'm not a liar. Yo, Sushi, are you still here? You got any questions? Dog, the Irish literally burnt down cities in riots, and they lived in slums and ghettos. They had a separate Irish-American identity. No, that's just not true. Irish Americans came here, and they were discriminated against. However, you can look at the wall over here. There's walls of books about Irish Americans and Irish people who came here to America. And you look at this. The NYPD is a great example. The NYPD was almost entirely Irish because the Irish people, despite them being discriminated against, they said, we still want to be Americans. We still want to be part of American society. And so we're going to get whatever job we can. And that what ended up being the NYPD. And that's why the NYPD to this day is very much Irish. Oh, is there anyone else? Sushi is busy. Sushi is busy. 51 minutes. Oh man, I want to get to an hour. I thought this would be longer. Let's see what's going on in Twitter. It's so boring. It says, this is kind of cool. At some point, you will have to take it. At some point, you will have to stop running and take a stand. Either you, your children, or your grandchildren. Better you than them. I so true. So true. That's a W tweet. Let's see what's trending now. Trends is like Oprah. Why is Oprah trending? What's going on with Oprah, you guys? If you guys have any questions still, like anyone who's still in chat, then and I'd love to take some questions. Oh, Oprah Winfrey's private jet was at Epstein's Island 11 different times. Whatever happened to all the girls that got kidnapped from her school in Africa? Oh, jeez. That's not, that's not, I don't know anything about Hassan. Well, no, I know who Hassan is. What's the drama? That'd be interesting to talk about. I want to know about this drama. What's going on with Hassan? Not a big fan of that guy. I don't know what's going on with Hassan, other than the fact that he's like a acclaimed socialist who lives in some $1 million mansion or penthouse or whatever. Other than that, I want to know what's going on with Hassan. Downfall, me, and it's like me, like looking like a homeless guy. Me at my funeral, and then me looking at like this right now over here. Me at the downfall of Hassan. Oh man, here, let's see if Twitter, let's see, are they talking about this on Twitter? Okay, he's basically reacting people's videos with that. Oh yes, I did hear about this. XQC was like getting yelled at for the same thing. No, it's totally stupid. You need to like bro, and their excuse is like, let me explain for the audio listeners. Basically, there are a bunch of Twitch streamers and Kick streamers or whatever who just watch YouTube videos for their entire stream and add practically nothing. It's people like XQC, Pokimane, and apparently Hassan too. I didn't know this. And they just react, quote unquote, to these videos, and they don't do anything. They just like sit there eating. I know Pokimane got in trouble for this like a year ago. I don't really know anything about her other than her name, or XQC other than he's like apparently an idiot. But apparently they like they just like watch YouTube videos, and I feel like that's not productive. And the fact that I feel like they're making money, the fact that they're making money, and the people who there are thousands of people watching their live stream, watching these videos, and those thousands of people could be watching the original video on YouTube and having the original video creator make that money. I think it's totally hypocritical for Hassan, who claims to be a socialist, to basically steal money from people who probably don't make nearly as much money as him. If he was reacting to like Fox News or CNN or something, maybe it'd be a different story. Or if he was like providing commentary over these YouTube videos, maybe it'd be a different story, like he actually had something. But apparently they just don't say anything. They just like watch it. Also, what are your thoughts about Hassan apparently going to a German brothel where there's oh yes, I do remember this. There were trafficked women and they were like underage. In the defense of Hassan, I mean, that's total degeneracy, but he probably had no idea. I don't know the whole context to the story, but a lot of times in these situations with these trafficked peoples, you never know. Like, they're like these prostitutes and stuff in Paris, and you'll never know. You look at Taken, the movie Taken with Liam Neeson, great movie, and he fights against this Albanian trafficking mafia because his daughter gets taken, and he's able to basically, like, there's this prostitute in the street, and without the context of the movie, you'd have no idea that she's like human trafficked and like on drugs. And the only way you'd know is if you went to like one of these stations where you're literally just able to go into a room and all these women are like totally hooked on like heroin, and it's super sad situation. So it's so sad. But a lot of the times the worst part about this is you can't even tell. You could never know the trauma and the pain that these people are going through. And so Hassan, I don't know the whole situation, but I'm probably going to guess that he didn't know, even though he's a total degenerate for being there in the first place. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on going to that. Something I never do, so I never even get in that situation because I never go to a brothel. So I don't have to worry about messing around with trafficked women. Why is everything... Forgot, most people in the world don't care about politics. What the heck is a Chutkan? Ooh. Today, Judge Tanya Chutkan warned Trump's lawyers that politics had no place in her courtroom or in this case. But here's Judge Chutkan berating a January 6er during a sentence hearing in October 20... I talked about this woman. This is the woman the only federal judge who over-prosecuted, who overcharged, or who gave jail time or whatever, who gave extra jail time more than what the DOJ requested to January 6th. So she says, it's blind loyalty to one person who, by the way, remains free to the... Okay. I see the videotapes. I see the footage of the flags and the signs that people were carrying and the hats they were wearing and the garb. And the people who mobbed that Capitol were there in loyalty to one man, not to the Constitution. So she's like innately political and says Trump can't be. And judges typically are just hypocritical. So I can't even like criticize her. 9 o'clock. Let's do like one more thing. Let's talk about this. What was this? This guy. There's like something new. Yeah. So I'm not even gonna try. Tao Tao. Tu Tao. Tao Tao. Tu Tao? Let's look this up, guys. Let's look this up. How do you pronounce this name? This is funny. How do you pronounce Tu Tao? Let's look this up. Let's see this. Tu Tao. Do Tao. Let's look this up. Let's see this. To Tao. Okay, To Tao. That's his name. To Tao, the former Minneapolis police officer who held back a crowd of bystanders during George Floyd's fatal arrest in May 2020, was sentenced to 4 years and 9 months in prison Monday for aiding and abetting second-degree manslaughter. He then spoke for about 20 minutes about how he rediscovered Christianity after Floyd's death and delivered a religious sermon to the court. So this guy said something. I can't find the quote. Basically, he said, like, the judge says, you don't sound very sorry for what you did. And he basically said, I'm not. He basically said that he did the right thing. And, I don't know. I'm not gonna say anything on, George Floyd personally because I don't want to get sued like everyone else is by his family. But I will say this guy believed something and he stood up for it despite what people wanted him to say. So congrats to that guy for being a hero against the system who wants to destroy him. All right, if anyone's still here, looks like we have 2 viewers. If anyone has any questions, Sushi or Beyond YMA, I'd love to answer them, but it's been an hour and 3 minutes. I'll give you guys a few more minutes to ask questions while I read some Twitter. Oh, here. By the way, I recommend you use OBS for your stream so you can show your screen if you want to. Yeah, I will use OBS, but this is like a part-time setup because I'm in Ohio right now and I'm supposed to be in Montana. So this whole setup, even though it's really cool, it's my parents' house, it's gonna change. So yeah, I'm gonna use OBS in a few weeks once I get settled back. So yeah, there's that. But next week we'll be on the road. That'll be fun. But yeah, once I get that whole thing going, I will definitely be using OBS. And like I'll screen share and stuff. But right now, because this is like my last week here, and next week I'll be on the road. The week after that, I'll probably be super busy, so I won't have very much time to do that. And so in episode 9, I will use OBS. I'll figure it. Give myself a month, okay? Give me a month. Give me a little time. I got a lot of stuff I gotta do. The fact that I'm doing this once a week is a miracle. No, it's not. The fact that I'm doing this on the road next week is going to be a miracle. I don't know how I'm going to figure that out. Where will I be? I'll either be in Chicago or South Dakota. South Dakota, because I'll be there at night. I think. Maybe I'll even do it in the Badlands. Maybe I'll do my stream in the Badlands. So yeah, we're going to read one more thing. Federal Reserve is trending. See if anything's happening. Okay, it's just a bunch of libertarians talking about the Federal Reserve. I don't give a crap. What about What the hell? What was this? Tucker Carlson is trending. Tucker Carlson talked about this a lot too. Um, okay, he's just talking about January 6th. I talked about that last week. Uh, ah, I gotta set up like a, I don't know. I wish I had more people because I could like keep going for like another half hour, but we're not gonna do that because it doesn't look like anyone has any questions. So, here we get a little fit check for the audio listeners. We're gonna show. I've got got some nice dark khakis. My unpolished needs to be polished. Nice shoes. Like a flowery blue shirt. It's masculine. Oh, Sushi, don't apologize, bro. Do not apologize, Sushi. Okay. Don't say sorry. You're busy. You're a busy guy. The fact that you're listening, I should be thanking you. Okay. You're listening. I'm not asking you. I don't wanna. I don't wanna like harp on my viewers to try and like say stuff. I'm saying the fact that you're listening right now, I'm very grateful. If you're busy and don't want to comment, that's totally fine. The fact that you're listening is great. So I'm not mad at all. I'm happy that you're here in the first place. But back to the fit check. We got this like flowery blue shirt. It's pretty nice. It's kind of tight. I've been working out a lot. I have my classic blue jacket, I guess. Do I have anything in here? I gotta get a new one. I ordered a new one. That'll come soon. Maybe I'll do that next week. It is manly. Look at this. See? Is this not like... It's like a pattern. It's all blue. Like it's one shade of blue, but with like these little... Like it's a pattern. Their flowers are so little, you can't even tell. I'm like a fancy I'm like a fancy Magnum PI. Okay? What question? Beyond YMA, I don't have... You didn't ask a question. What question? What question? What question? Is there, am I getting a text from somebody? Am I getting a text from somebody? Is somebody texting me? Is this it? No. This guy isn't asking me in here. What question? What question? I'm not getting a question. There's nothing in chat. Oh, I should show my screen right now. There's nothing in chat. We're giving you 30 seconds to figure out this question thing. Because it's not in chat. It's just not in chat right now. Once it hits 9:10, what's going on? What is this? Oh, jeez. That's sad. Zerka Official tweets, I am 29 years old and have no friends. That's really sad. I'm sorry, guy. I don't know what to tell you. 9:09 still. You got time. You got time, man. This is so boring. Why is Twitter so boring? Nothing happened. Nothing happened this week except for some new stats on some issue that we've known about for 50 years. $9.10. Is the question in chat? The question's not in chat, guy. I'm sorry. I gotta go. I got this watch, my necklace, my cross, my Cairo. Nothing much. There's no question to be answered. You didn't ask one. Sorry, bro. I gotta go. I'm hungry. I ate steak right before this, but that doesn't matter. It does not matter. Look at this. It's a fire setup. how do I, there we go.